Latest on Mark Guehi.
Well, he played yesterday. He played really well against Chelsea, I thought. The situation, I think, is sort of stalemate at the moment. Yeah, of course, Liverpool want to sign him, but a deal hasn't been agreed. He's still got a year left on his contract. I think my information is that Palace, if they let him go, they're looking for a fee which starts with a 4. And I think Liverpool at the moment are offering a fee that starts with a 3. So that is the gap that needs to be bridged in the next couple of weeks. Otherwise, I think he will stay at Crystal Palace and leave as a free agent next summer.
Alexander Isak didn't feature in their goalless draw at Aston Villa. What's the latest today?
I think the situation with Isak is that he will remain a Newcastle player when the window closes, unless Newcastle United sign a replacement. And it can't just be any old replacement. It has to be a replacement who's good enough to lead the line for them in the Premier League and also in the Champions League. There'll be the draw for the Champions League at the end of this month. Newcastle are guaranteed to be playing some big sides in the initial league phase of that competition. So I think if Isak is still desperate to leave Newcastle, his best chance of getting out of Newcastle is if Newcastle sign an elite level replacement. And of course, then Newcastle would have to agree a deal for him to leave with the clubs who are interested in signing him. But that needs to happen. Newcastle are not going to let him go unless they have that replacement in place.
And you've got to wonder who is out there.
Who's left?
They went for Hugo Ekitike.
Go on.
He's ended up going to Liverpool. They went for Benjamin Sesko, and you can't blame Newcastle for what they did in that deal. They went all out to try and get Sesko, and it wasn't a case of Sesko snubbing Newcastle. It was the fact that he wanted Manchester United from the outset. So they can't really be blamed for that. But then who's left now? There's been talk of Ollie Watkins, but if Aston Villa were to do any business on Ollie Watkins, they then would need to bring in a replacement. Nicholas Jackson is another one who, on paper, would probably be the most straightforward deal to do if they can stump up the cash, because Chelsea aren't going to let him go on the cheap. But his game time is going to be limited. He's not featuring for Chelsea at the moment. He says he wants to explore his options. One player that they are looking to bring in, not necessarily as a replacement for Alexander Isak, is Yoane Wissa. Now, this is another saga that has continued throughout the summer. He doesn't want to play for Brentford anymore. He didn't feature for them over the weekend. There's an expectation that Newcastle United will approach Brentford again over the player, but it seems like he's going to be a replacement for Callum Wilson rather than Alexander Isak. An interesting development today was on Yoane Wissa's Instagram page. Now, he's removed any association with Brentford. He hasn't got a picture of himself on his page anymore, and all of these pictures now in his social media file, they don't contain anything associated with Brentford. This is starting to get a little bit unsavoury. He doesn't want to play for them again, but Newcastle United are going to have to stump up the cash because Brentford aren't going to let him go on the cheap.
At the moment, it's not good. You know, the man's a hero. You know, win a trophy, phenomenal player. You know, he's losing that legacy very quickly by not playing. I'm not saying he's turned around and said he doesn't want to play until I hear him come out and say that himself in front of the camera and say I refuse to play, and then it's a different matter. But at the moment, he's pushing his move, and I think he gets it.
Liverpool are actively pushing ahead in their pursuit of Crystal Palace and England centre-back Mark Guehi, with talks reportedly entering an advanced stage. As manager Arne Slot continues reshaping the squad in his first summer at Anfield, defensive reinforcements have become a top priority, particularly with concerns about squad depth and long-term stability at the back. Guehi, 25, is viewed as a perfect fit due to his consistency, Premier League experience, and strong performances at Euro 2024, where he featured prominently for England. According to sources such as The Guardian and This Is Anfield, Liverpool are preparing a formal bid in the region of £40 to £45 million, which is close to Crystal Palace's adjusted valuation. Initially, Palace were said to be demanding upwards of £50 million, factoring in a sell-on clause owed to Chelsea, Guehi's former club. However, with the defender entering the final year of his contract, Palace are increasingly open to negotiating a realistic fee to avoid losing him for nothing in 2026. Liverpool are standing firm and unwilling to overpay, knowing they hold leverage in the situation. Reports suggest that Guehi is open to the move, and personal terms are unlikely to be an obstacle. With the Reds offering Champions League football and a chance to compete at the top level both domestically and in Europe, the move could represent a significant step forward in Guehi's career. Arne Slot has identified Guehi as a priority target not only for his defensive attributes such as calmness under pressure, aerial strength, and positional awareness, but also for his leadership qualities. Liverpool's backline has seen inconsistency in recent seasons due to injuries and aging personnel, and the club sees Guehi as someone who could play a long-term role alongside Virgil van Dijk or Ibrahima Konate. The departure of younger defenders like Jarell Quansah has also created additional room for a high-profile addition. Although a deal has not yet been finalized, all indications suggest that Liverpool are confident of getting it done before the end of the transfer window. Kostas Tsimikas appears increasingly likely to leave Liverpool this summer, with several reliable reports suggesting the Greek international is among the players expected to depart as Arne Slot reshapes his squad. After 4 seasons at Anfield, where he made over 60 appearances primarily as cover for Andy Robertson, Tsimikas' role has diminished further with the club's recent defensive additions. Liverpool have already moved to strengthen the left side of their backline by signing Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth, a younger, dynamic left-back who was expected to challenge for the starting spot. This move, along with Tsimikas' exclusion from the Community Shield squad, has been interpreted as a clear indication that Liverpool are preparing for life without him. According to multiple outlets, including Anfield Index and Sportsmall, there's a strong chance, estimated at over 80%, that Tsimikas will leave before the transfer window closes. Premier League clubs are already circling, with Leeds United reportedly leading the chase for his signature. Nottingham Forest and Wolves have also expressed interest, while unnamed European clubs are said to be monitoring his situation from afar. Liverpool are believed to be looking for a fee in the region of £12 to £15 million, and importantly, they are only considering a permanent sale, ruling out any possibility of a loan. Despite this, Tsimikas has maintained a positive attitude in public, recently stating that he's happy at Liverpool and doesn't feel frustrated about his limited minutes, even though he understands the competitive nature of top-level football. However, the writing seems to be on the wall. With the Reds looking to refresh their squad and Tsimikas eager for more consistent first-team football, a move this summer appears not only likely but mutually beneficial. The Greek defender has contributed key moments in a Liverpool shirt, including scoring the winning penalty in the 2022 FA Cup final shootout against Chelsea. But with Arne Slot implementing tactical changes and targeting a younger, more versatile squad, Tsimikas' profile no longer fits the direction Liverpool are heading. All indications point toward an exit in the coming weeks, as clubs prepare formal offers and Liverpool look to finalize their outgoings before the end of the summer window. Alexander Isak is now strongly tipped to join Liverpool this summer, with mounting evidence suggesting the Swedish striker is edging closer to a blockbuster move to Anfield. After a standout season at Newcastle United, the 24-year-old has emerged as one of the most sought-after forwards in European football, and Liverpool appear to be leading the race for his signature. Isak is said to have made it clear that his preferred destination is Liverpool, turning down approaches and interest from other top clubs including Arsenal and Barcelona. From Liverpool's side, the interest is serious and backed by financial firepower. The club is reportedly ready to make a formal offer worth in the region of £130 million, potentially including add-ons and structured payments. This would make Isak one of the most expensive signings in Liverpool's history, rivaling or surpassing the figures paid for Darwin Núñez and Virgil van Dijk. It also signals the club's intent to invest in elite-level talent to regain domestic dominance and mount a strong European campaign. Arne Slot is believed to be a major advocate of the move, having identified Isak's versatility, technical ability, and goal-scoring instincts as the ideal attributes for his system. Newcastle United, however, have remained resistant, at least publicly. The Magpies have maintained that Isak is not for sale, especially given the club's aspirations to remain competitive at the top end of the Premier League. That said, behind the scenes, reports indicate that Newcastle may now be softening their stance. With financial fair play considerations in play and Isak expressing a growing desire to move on, sources close to the situation have suggested the club would be open to a sale if Liverpool's offer meets or exceeds their valuation. The striker's recent actions, including reportedly informing Newcastle's hierarchy of his preference to leave, have further fueled speculation that a deal could be on the horizon. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Liverpool remain very much in the race and that the situation is still open. While no official agreement has been reached, the key factors, player interest, club intent, and potential fee structure, are all aligning in Liverpool's favour. The coming days and weeks could be decisive, as Liverpool push to finalise personal terms and convince Newcastle to greenlight the move.